I still remember that night, cold wind, trembling hands, and the quiet hum of a hospital corridor that never truly sleeps. I stood outside room 208, staring at the flickering, pediatric oncology sign, feeling like the world had already decided I wasn't enough. It was my first night volunteering. I was supposed to read bedtime stories to the children, kids fighting battles they never asked for. But when I saw their faces, pale and fragile under those sterile white sheets, my courage began to crumble. "I'm not ready," I whispered to myself, the weight of fear pressing down on my chest. That's when I felt a gentle hand touch mine. "First day?" a soft voice asked. I turned and saw her, a woman in her early 30s, wearing faded scrubs and an easy smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Her name tag read Clara. She must have seen the hesitation on my face because she didn't wait for an answer. She simply said, "Come with me." I wanted to tell her no, to walk away and pretend this wasn't for me, but something about her voice made me stay. She led me into room 208, where a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, was sitting up in bed with a stuffed bear tucked under her arm. "This is Emma," Clara said, giving the girl a wink. "She's been waiting all day to hear her story." Emma smiled weakly and patted the empty chair beside her. "You can sit here," she said. I swallowed hard and sat down. My hands were shaking as I opened the storybook. The words blurred on the page. My voice trembled. I stumbled through the first few lines until I just stopped. "I'm sorry," I said, my throat tight. "I don't think I can do this. I'm not ready." I started to stand up. But before I could take a step, Clara reached out, pulled me gently closer, and whispered, "That's why I chose you." I froze. She smiled softly. "The ones who think they're not ready usually have the biggest hearts." Those words sank deep into me, like a quiet truth I didn't know I'd been waiting to hear. So I stayed. I read to Emma that night, slowly at first, then with more confidence as she laughed at the funny parts and gasped at the exciting ones. When I finished, she looked up at me and said, "You sound like my dad when he used to read to me." It broke something open inside me. I didn't ask about her dad. I didn't need to. After that night, I came back every week. I read to Emma, drew silly pictures, even learned how to braid her hair. Clara was always there too, quietly guiding me, teaching me how to show up for people in pain, even when words weren't enough. One evening, a few months later, I noticed Clara sitting alone in the hallway, her eyes red from crying. I sat beside her. She didn't look at me when she said, "Emma's time is close." My chest tightened. I didn't know what to say. Clara continued, voice barely above a whisper, "I lost my daughter 5 years ago. Same illness. I promised her I'd keep showing up for other kids like her, even when it hurt." That's when I understood why she had chosen me. Not because I was ready, but because she saw in me what she once felt, the fear of not being enough, and the courage to try anyway. Emma passed away a week later. I was there, holding her hand as she fell asleep for the last time. Afterward, I walked out of the hospital, tears blurring my vision. Clara met me at the door. I wanted to say thank you, but my voice broke before I could. She hugged me tightly and whispered, "You stayed. That's what matters." It's been 3 years since then. I still volunteer every Friday night. And sometimes, when new volunteers freeze at the doorway, I see that same fear I once had. So I walk over, gently take their hand, and when they whisper, "I'm not ready," I smile and say, "That's why I chose you." Moral. Sometimes, the people who think they're not ready are the ones who end up changing lives, because kindness doesn't come from being prepared. It comes from being present.